Hello again, TryHard Enmity here. Just a short video today going over Blizzard's new crafting system they've added in the 1.0.7 patch. We're going to discuss where to get the patterns, what exactly they've added into the game, the potential of the items that can be crafted by you, yourself, and exactly where to get all the crafting materials, and we'll talk about some drop rates as well. So let's get started straight into the game. Now, let's just take a few seconds to discuss what exactly they've added into the game. So Blizzard's added in new crafting items that you can craft yourself, which are bind on account. So what this means, they've added in a personal gain system for you as a player where you can get your own items and you can actually get upgrades without relying on drops. So as you all know, playing the game for hundreds and hundreds of hours, probably most of you, that you don't get upgrades on your own. You rarely get an upgrade, and if you do, you're very lucky to get that. So what they've added is a system where you make bind on account items that have the potential of being some of the best items in the game for your class, depending on what you want to do, like PvP, PvE, but it has potential of having some of the absolute best items in the game. Now, let's just quickly discuss which ones they've added into the game. So they've added in, they're all Archons, so they're all level 63 item level. They've added in gloves, chest piece, shoulders, and bracers, as well as an amulet as well, a 63 item level amulet. So all of these items are level 63, and the base stat on all of these items is 201 of your main stat. So what that means is they all, their strength, vitality, intelligence, and dexterity on all of these item types, but the base item, the absolute lowest amount of stat they can roll is 201. That is excluding the bonus roll on your main stat you can get as well. So the potential of these items, which we'll discuss later on in the video, or if you click on the bottom link below, there's an interactive menu. We'll talk about the potential of these items, but I can tell you right now, it's absolutely insane, the potential of some of these items. So let's just quickly discuss where you get the patterns for these items now. Okay, so unlike the actual items themselves, the patterns are not bind on account. So the first place I would recommend going to buy these, or to get these, is the auction house. They do have drop chances off mobs and things like that, but the cost has gone down so much because they're so easy to farm. You can get them in the auction house for a very fair price. And when I say fair price, we're talking under 100k gold per plan, which is, absolutely amazing. But since, 2 days of farming, I've actually got all these plans plus my dexterity ones, so they do have a very high drop rate, and if you do go out to farm just them, you're going to get the ones you want eventually. So if you want to save the gold, go for it. But let's talk about where they drop. Now, the main place that the actual designs drop will be off of certain bosses in the game. Now, the boss list that they've added would be the Skeleton King, Spider Queen, Magda, Zoltan Kuhl, the Spider Boss, or not the Spider Boss, the Spider Boss, Gom, Rakanoth, and Iswal. So they have a chance dropping off 2 bosses in each act. It's a very high drop rate. It's about 20% on Monster Power 0, and as you can see on the chart on the screen, it goes up as the monster power gets higher, and that's just a general rule they have for most items like this. The higher monster power you play, the higher drop chance you're going to get on the item, which is fair enough. But like I said before, you can get them on the auction house, so if you don't want to spend hours farming them, which you're going to get the ones you want, just hop on the auction house and buy them, because they're very fair priced, and it's going to save you a lot of time. I would have expected them to be a bit more expensive, but thinking about it, having them guaranteed drop-off bosses, and having them bind on pickup, or not bind on pickup, just not bind on pickup, there's going to be lots of these on the market, and they're going to be very, very easy to get. Now, on top of getting them on the auction house, and from bosses in the game, they actually drop off of monsters as well. Any elite pack can drop these, and I think white mobs can as well. I'm not too sure. I don't think I've noticed any drop, but I think they can drop off white mobs as well. So there's a variation of locations you can get the items themselves, and they're just easy to get now. So have a look around for them, and you can make some of the best items in the game on your own. Let's talk about the actual crafting materials needed to make these items now, though. And one more very quick thing I'd like to just quickly say before we start on the actual crafting materials is the chest piece, the Archon chest piece, can only be bought in Act 2 off of the vendor or on the auction house. It's 1.5 million gold off the vendor and about 1.7 million gold on the auction house, so it's pointless to buy on the auction house, but you can get it in Act 2 off the little peddler vendor just when you enter the game. So let's talk about the actual crafting materials. Now, all of the items use different crafting materials except the unique item that they've added in 1.0.7, which is kind of the whole idea behind crafting these items. Now, it's called the Demonic Essence. It's bind on account. We'll talk about that in a bit, you know, how there was exploits and things like that. But anyways, they're bind on account, and they drop off of any elite pack in the game. So you can, and Treasure Goblin as well. So you can have 0 stacks Nephilim Valor and get these to drop. When you have 5 stacks, obviously, you might see a few more. But as you can see again on the chart on the screen, as you increase the monster power, the chance of demonic essences increases, just like any other item like this in the game. So again, these are bind on account, making the whole system, including the items which are bind on account, a personal upgrade system they've added. So anyways, let's talk about the materials on each one. Now, the bracers cost 30 exquisite essences, 5 Tome of Secrets, and 1 demonic essence, plus 50k gold. So a very modest amount. And I'll talk about the risk factor later on during the potential. Again, if you look on the bottom, there's going to be a link on the screen. So yeah, those are very fair priced. The gloves are 20 iridescent tears, 5 Tome of Secrets, 1 demonic essence, and 50k gold again. And the shoulders are a bit more expensive in terms of gold, but they're 10 Tome of Secrets, 1 demonic essence, and they are 75k gold, which is a reasonable amount considering the potential on the item. And then the neck is the most expensive item by a long shot. It costs 1 square emerald, perfect square emerald, which will kind of be determined on the stat of the item you're making. So intelligence will be topaz, dexterity will be emerald, and so on. And then it costs 1 fiery brimstone and 1 demonic essence, as well as 100k gold. So the risk factor in terms of gold, actually gambling for these items, is a lot higher than the rest. But again, we'll talk about the potential in a bit. And these, I'd say the neck has the most potential out of all the items in terms of personal gain on your character, you know, stat gain and things like that. So overall, all the items are fairly priced. The chest piece, I don't have it to show you, but it costs 150k gold, 2 Tome of Secrets, and 1 demonic essence. So it's a bit more expensive than the rest of the pieces, but I think I don't know why they made the chest pieces so expensive when there's so many other good chest pieces you can get in terms of legendaries. You know, like Inna's, for example, is just good anyways. So I don't think they should have made the chests that expensive, but they have their reasons, I guess. Blizzard's crazy, who knows? But anyway, so yeah, the actual, you know, crafting cost on these items is a fair amount, and it's definitely worth the risk. But let's talk about the potential of the items now. Okay, so we're going to take a few minutes to actually talk about what exactly the potential is on these items and how good they can really, really be. Now, I want to start by saying these items have the potential of just being absolutely balls to the wall insane in terms of top-end stats and in terms of character progression and upgrade. Now, let's have a look at a few of the ones I've made myself. Now, these are no way, I'm not claiming these to be good at all in comparison to what you can get. And I want to say before, again, that I've only made 75 crafts now so far since the patches came out. That's nothing. I mean, you can make like hundreds at a time. So the potential of you getting a good item is very high. Now, these shoulders, for example, looking at them, I mean, you're like, wow, okay, so strength, dexterity, intelligence, fire resist, all resist, shitty, whatever. But if you actually look at them, 307 dexterity. Now, compared to my old Val Ward, which is 210, that was about a 7k DPS increase, or 6k, I think it was. So it's over 90 dexterity I gained from those. My all resist maintained at the same amount because, you know, intelligence plus all resist on there is over 85, which is better than my Val Ward. I lost the armor and I lost life per second, but overall, those are better than my Val Ward. And the potential they have, if you replace that strength, fire resist, and intelligence with useful stats like vitality, life percentage, just anything like that, pretty much, maybe physical resist on there, the potential of that item is insane. So imagine that with vitality, life percentage, and physical resist instead of fire resist, intelligence, and strength. That's the potential of the items you can get. And if you craft these, you are going to get something good eventually. I can guarantee you. Obviously, it's RNG, but there's a factor of if you keep making them, something good is going to come out. And now let's talk about if I would have bought a Val Ward with over almost 300 dexterity, I would have spent, close to 50 million gold on EU servers, no problem. Now, if I would have put that 50 million gold into crafting these, I would have never been able to farm enough demonic essences to actually craft that many items. I mean, that would have cost, thousands of demonic essences. So if I would have crafted that many, I would have guaranteed gotten a better pair than these, which would have been better than the Val Ward I would have spent 50 million gold on. So that's the way to look at it in these item slots. So what's going to happen, you're going to see in the auction house now, is these slots of items are going to go down in price because more people are going to be crafting their own account-bound really good items. So it's going to make, gloves, shoulders, necks, bracers, chests a lot cheaper than they are now. So over the next month, you'll see shoulders and, gloves and things getting cheaper because less people will be buying them because more people will be crafting them. So the system will work out as making good loot more available to your character for a cheaper price, which I thought, kudos to Blizzard. That a really good idea, and it does work. So let's talk about the glove potential. Now, since this is a level 63 item level, you rarely see low crit chance on it. The crit chance that rolls on them is generally around 9%. Out of the probably about 30 I made, most of the crit chance ones were around 9%. A few of them were 6, 7%, but very rarely. Now, base stat on these items, you have to remember, the base stat roll is 201 to 230. So if you include a bonus stat roll on that, so you can roll dexterity on that as well, you're looking at 300 plus dexterity on gloves, as well as the other 4 random properties that can roll other than the dexterity I've already rolled. You can have vitality, you can have attack speed, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. You can have insane variations of gear. So, as you can see, the potential on these items is just absolutely balls to the wall. That I got those second try, and they're actually an upgrade from the gloves I was using because they had more vitality, they had more dexterity, they had a bit less attack speed, but they had the pickup radius as well on there, which is what I wanted in my build. So the potential of actually crafting these items is just, I can't even talk about how good it is. Let's have a look at some of the necks. Now, some of the necks, as you can see, those aren't good necks. There's no critical hit chance on them, so they're immediately garbage. But what I wanted to show you on these is whenever you roll critical hit damage on these, it's generally above 90%, which on an level item 62 neck, the chance of you getting a good stat with high crit damage is so goddamn low. It's unbelievable. It's just so low. Like, you rarely get above 50% critical hit damage on a neck. So if one of these would have rolled critical hit chance instead of attack speed, and keep in mind, I only made 5 necks out of all the necks I made, and these are what came out. If I would have rolled critical hit chance instead of lightning resist, this neck would have been absolutely fucking insane. So if you're going to sit there and make 100 necks, maybe 200 necks, you're going to get some pretty crazy stuff. I was watching Kongor's stream, and he crafted a neck. Keep in mind, his neck is probably worth billions to begin with. He crafted a neck which had a 30k DPS increase for Kongor. So he already has top-end gear, top-end barbarian gear. He rolled a 30k DPS increase neck. It had really, really high average damage, dexterity, critical hit chance, and really high critical hit damage on there. It had 300 strength. So, as you can see, the potential on these necks is absolutely insane. Let's talk about risk factor now in terms of actually crafting, because as you know, a neck costs almost 200k gold per craft. So, you have to look at it this way. My neck cost me 80 million gold. That wasn't cheap. It's got really high average damage, it's got really high dexterity, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. Now, if you convert that 80 million gold into crafting, that's like 400, it's like thousands of crafts pretty much that you could make with that gold, or like, tons and tons of crafts. So you have to look at it this way. The chance of you getting a good item crafting over 500 times is probably going to get you a neck better than this mediocre medium range neck, because this is a medium range neck. It's in no way a top end neck. It's an okay neck, but 80 million gold, it was worth it at the time. Could you make a better neck for the risk factor of gambling? I would say yes, but at the same time, you have to remember you are gambling, and there is a factor of you not actually getting that item. But me personally, I would be willing to spend 80 million gold crafting to find a better neck than this, because the potential of the neck I'm going to find will probably be better than this neck that I have right now. So I would gladly throw down my 80 million gold gambling that. And you have to factor that in. You have to factor in, are you willing to gamble the gold to make the items? I personally think, depending on, like, let's say I am Kongor and I have a top-end barbarian neck, I probably wouldn't spend, like, a billion gold crafting a neck, because the chance of you getting, better stats in a really, really top-end, very specific to your character neck, level item 62 that you bought at the auction house, is probably going to be low, because the neck you already have is probably going to be really good anyways. But if you have nothing better to spend your gold on when you have that much gold, like he had like 20 billion gold, you might as well just craft. I mean, you're not going to lose everything if you have that much gold. But if you're a medium range player and you're sitting around like, some shitty gloves or shitty shoulders, I would gamble over buying something off the auction house, hands down. So, but it's up to you guys. Those are the risks, and that's just the potential of the items you can get. Like if you're looking at we'll talk about one more. Bracers, for example. Now, the average good bracers are Lacuni Prowlers, but who out of, who's watching this can afford a top end of Lacuni Prowlers with 6%, maybe 5% critical hit chance? Not many. I mean, they're really fucking expensive. So let's look at the bracers. If you roll Dexterity plus Dexterity, you're looking at almost 300 Dexterity on bracers, which is insane. Like that's like an unheard of amount on bracers. And then you roll critical hit chance on that, 5% plus. Those are crazy bracers. 300 stats plus crit. And the chance of getting that over probably like 200 gambles is pretty high. I'd say it's a pretty high amount, but it's up to you guys if you want to gamble it. But you can get once I replace my shoulders and neck, I'm replacing my bracers because I don't really want to fork out for a good pair of Lacunis yet. I want to get my Mempo and things like that sorted. But it's completely up to you and what you want to do. So anyways, guys, that's enough. We're making the guide pretty long here, but those are the factors in terms of risk and potential. Really, really high on both of them. So let's just get, talking about some future guides that are coming out in terms of crafting. All right, guys. So first of all, thanks for sticking through the guide and watching it. I always enjoy making these, and I, really, really like making them. So thanks for the support. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the video because it does directly support me in terms of it just makes me want to make more, more videos. I don't get money for your likes. I don't get money for your subscribes. None of that shit. I just really like having more subscribers and more. Just more people appreciating the content and things like that. Let me know in the comment section below how you're getting on with the crafting system. And if you have any crazy items, please link them to me. I'm really interested to see what items you guys are getting out of this, because I think it's such a cool system, and I'm so glad Blizzard's added it, because it's making farming for me have a lot better goal than just farming Paragon levels all the time. So thank you, Blizzard, for that. But anyways, guides that are coming out in terms of actual crafting system, I'm going to make a demonic essence farming route guide, and in that I'm going to talk about best boss routes you can mix in with that as well. So that's going to probably come out sometime next week, just discussing where exactly to get demonic essences and where to get the most elites per hour, resulting in the most demonic essences per hour. But yeah, guys, stick around for that. But anyways, I'm going to sign out now. Thank you very, very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all on Monday or Tuesday with a new video. Bye bye.